Alright, today we're talking about Fight Club. This movie made a whole generation of dudes realize they hate their job, their apartment, and their IKEA bookshelf. This movie's like a Molotov cocktail thrown at the soul of consumerism. This movie's like a middle-class exorcism. And it's a movie where every 19-year-old dude feels like it's a philosophy course. They watch it one time and next thing you know they're quoting Nietzsche. Basically the Proud Boys before the Proud Boys was a thing. This is the type of movie that makes you want to throw away all your belongings and have you and your buddies beat the shit out of each other in your backyard. I call that Saturday night, but to show solidarity with Fight Club I buzzed my head because I hate hair and also I don't like inconveniences. But what this movie really did was expose the spiritual sickness we have in society today. Everything is packaged for us for consumption. And this movie came out in 1999, back when people still believed that buying a fancy couch was the key to spiritual enlightenment.
I'd flip through catalogs and wonder, what kind of dining set defines me as a person?
People used to actually look forward to commercials. We didn't realize how brainwashed we were in the 90s. Commercials have been a phenomenon for the last 100+ years, but before that, everyone brought value to their community. And Fight Club's really trying to bring it back to the root of that, show men how to be men again. The American dream had become the American to-do list. Get a job, buy crap, fill the void. And Fight Club shows up like, hey, none of that shit matters. You're just slowly dying in a cubicle with no soul. You got Edward Norton, the most relatable man in the world. He's not living, he's accumulating, sleepwalking through his life with an Amazon cart full of useless shit and zero purpose. And somehow that's a normal life. And a lot of young men go through this same phase in life, where they're looking for purpose, and they realize no matter how much shit they buy, it's never gonna fill that void that's in their soul. That's if you're lucky. Some people just continue living that way aimlessly with no purpose in life.
We are consumers. We are byproducts of a lifestyle obsession. I say stop being perfect. I say let's evolve. Let the chips fall where they may. The things you own end up owning you.
I realized a long time ago, and even recently, I moved to a new spot and I got rid of damn near everything. The only things that I kept were tools that I could use to produce with. Everything else, I threw out in the front yard, had bulk trash come pick it up. I don't need shit. The shit that you own owns you. And if I can't produce with it, then I don't need that shit. And this movie really highlights the issue. And the issue is a man trying to make sense of his meaningless life. And then boom, Tyler Durden shows up like a bomb. He's a rejection letter to modern life. Karma in human form. He's basically the version of you when you stop giving a fuck. He says things like, you're not your fucking khakis. While you were planning to go to Bed Bath & Beyond, and now you're thinking about burning down your whole life and starting all over again. And that's the genius of Fight Club. It taps into something primal, that deep itch under your skin that says there's more to life than quarterly reports and microwave dinners. It's not about fighting, it's about finally feeling. It's about taking all the numbness, the quiet desperation, and punching it in the goddamn face, literally. And fighting is just a metaphor for the fight that we go through. And that's one thing you learn while doing martial arts. If anyone here has done martial arts, then you know it teaches you discipline. It teaches you what's most important in life. When you're in jiu-jitsu class and you feel your life slipping away via rear naked choke, you realize all the bullshit trivialism means nothing. And let's be real, these guys aren't starting Fight Club to solve the world's problems. They're doing it because modern life neutered them. They're office drones, retail zombies, guys that can tell you the difference between ergonomic chairs but haven't had an original thought since puberty. So what do? Beat the shit out of each other and call it therapy. It's basically they live with less sunglasses and more bleeding. Same message, you're being lied to, fed garbage, turned into a cog in a machine. Except in Fight Club, instead of beating up aliens, you're beating up Carl from accounting, because Carl is you. You're the alien. You're the hollowed out husk buying useless shit to fill a void the size of your own masculinity. And then you got Project Mayhem, where Fight Club mutates into this full-blown cult built around doing something, anything. It starts with guys tapping out during basement fights and ends with a bunch of bald dudes blowing up corporate headquarters because credit card debt is a prison. It's chaos. But it's not stupid chaos. It's directed. It's a system built to destroy the system. They're making soap out of rich people. They're weaponizing capitalism's fat and throwing it right back in its face. It's genius and disgusting at the same time. And then there's the big twist. Tyler Durden isn't real. Spoiler alert. But that's the point. Tyler isn't a person. He's an idea. He's the voice in your head that says, you hate your job, you hate your life, burn it all down. He's the piece of every man who feels like a passenger in his own existence. He's you when you stop giving a fuck. The main character, he couldn't face himself, so he had to create an imaginary version of himself who basically is the hero of his own story. And the metaphor is, Tyler Durden is you. You have him in you. Once you stop giving a shit and working on yourself. I mean, you don't have to go as crazy as him and blow up buildings, but you can work towards making yourself a better person and also letting go of the things that hold you down. In a sense, it's like Buddhism or Orthodox Christianity, letting go of all your possessions and taking things back to the bare essentials. And what's funny about the movie is that it knows you'll love Tyler. It wants you to love him. And then it pulls the rug out and says, yeah, now you gotta shoot yourself in the head to get rid of him. Because the fantasy of blowing everything up is tempting, but it's not sustainable. Eventually you gotta deal with your own shit. You can't punch your way out of existential dread forever. And in the end, everything's burning, buildings are collapsing, and the Pixies are singing, "Where is my mind?" Which, the Pixies is one of my all-time favorite bands. I'm kind of a snob with their music, and everyone knows of them because of this movie. Name me 2 more fucking songs. But this movie is pretty damn awesome. It's cathartic. It's nihilistic. It's a breakup letter to the bullshit of society. This movie isn't a guidebook, but it's a mirror. It forces you to look at yourself. It's therapy through chaos, enlightenment through bruising. And even if you think it's overhyped, it still punches way harder than most movies dare to swing. And this movie has a ton of flaws. As time goes on, it's dated in many aspects, especially the shitty CGI in there. But this movie still holds up, theoretically. And it's incredible. It's one of those movies you can definitely come back to 20 years later and find meaning in it. But you should just take bits and pieces of this movie and then apply it to your own life. You don't have to treat this movie like the Bible. Treat the Bible like the Bible. But yeah, Fight Club's a movie about punching your friends in a basement that somehow nailed the entire spiritual sickness of modern life. And what's wild is that it's still relevant, maybe even more now. This movie predicted the burnout, the identity crisis, the quiet desperation, the way men feel like they're drowning in expectations, in consumerism, in shit they don't need. And this movie gives us a release valve. And even if you don't want to blow up a credit card building, deep down you kind of get why someone would. And honestly, I mean, I don't think that's a bad idea. If anyone out here is listening, blow up a credit card building. I mean, do it after hours so you don't kill nobody. But, you know, I wouldn't mind getting some of my debt wiped off. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. We live in a society today where it's kind of reaching its boiling point, and it's damn near time to hit the reset button. In a world filled with doom scrolling and dopamine chasing, Fight Club still feels like a middle finger. And that's why people keep watching it, because at some point you realize your Amazon cart doesn't love you back. But maybe a punch in the face will wake you up. This movie really takes the phony consumerist garbage we marinate in every day and sets it on fire. It doesn't try to fix the world with some inspirational speech. No, it says to feel real, sometimes you gotta get punched in the face. And they sort of have a point. And Tyler Durden, the reason that he resonates with young men is because he's every guy who's ever felt stuck and just wanted to blow everything up. Metaphorically, mostly. But yeah, check out Fight Club if you haven't. I first saw this movie in 1999 when it came out in the theaters. And man, my mind was blown. I couldn't believe it. And it's also changed culture. You got people like Andrew Tate running around. I mean, they got inspired by this movie. So yeah, tell me some of your favorite scenes, your favorite quotes. Tell me what other movies you'd like me to do. I dig this movie, and I feel like if you haven't seen it, you should definitely see it. But you never talk about it. That's rule number 1. And I already broke that rule because I'm literally talking about it. But who gives a shit? But I hope you have a great day, a good night, be safe, beat the shit out of your friends, and God bless.